Hey guys, Creator Mom. So I finished watching that show, Them, and I hate the way that it ended. It kind of ended a little cliffhangery, which I don't like. Casey, what are you doing? And, anyways, come this way, girl. Uh-oh, she's gonna chase the birds. There she goes. Oh my gosh. She is so funny. Anyways, I was just thinking, there was, when I went to this domestic violence center, there was a lot of people who had been there for months. Casey! Come here, where are you going? There was people that had been there for like months, like 8 months. I remember when everybody first gets there, the first question is, how long were you here? How long have you been here for? Because as soon as you get there, you want to go. You know that this is not the place you want to be. You know that this is not the place you want your kids to be, but this is just a step in the process. Casey, this way. And, yeah. So anyways, web. It's funny, when I got there, and I said, so, what's the next step? And things like that. They're like, well, just take it easy and relax for now. And it was just like, to me, it was a peculiar response. I was, in my mind, it's like, if you're case management, you're going to be on it with the next steps, because you don't want people to live there. This is a transitional place. And they didn't even really, it's not even like some type of like outpatient, where you're there and you have like therapy for a while. And I mean, people go there to get escape from somewhere in order to get somewhere else, Casey, come here. Come here. God, she's going all in the field. She'll be fine. So to just say, like, relax was not a good answer to me. I was like, okay, that's weird. So, anyways, I began asking people, how long have you been here? How long have you been here? They said 8 months. And I was like, oh my God. I thought, there is no way. And when I did my intake, they said, you can get housing and be out here in as fast as like 6 weeks. Lie. I feel like I got out of there as fast as humanly possible. And I was there for 5 months. And that was only because I had a vehicle. Thank God. I had a vehicle. And I had a laptop too. And those things really helped me. But a lot of these people didn't have nothing. They don't have a car. Nothing. And the case managers didn't tell a lot of these women when they first got there, these women who had been there for 8 months or so, didn't tell them when they got there what housing they could apply for to do the most important step, which is exiting. And it's just insane, because they know that people aren't going there to stay there. They know that you can only be there a certain amount of time before you're considered just homeless. And then you're not even allowed to be there anymore, because you're no longer considered running from domestic violence. You're considered homeless. So for these people to not immediately, there she, what were you doing? She's eating something. What were you doing? What were you doing? Look at her. What was so good that you were eating in there? You know. She knows. What were you doing? Oh, now you're expecting a treat? She kind of scared me. I was calling her for a bit, and she was in the middle of that field. I'm like, oh my God, it's not that big, but still. She was busy eating something. Probably something gross. Alright, so yeah, it's just like when people, why would women get there and be there for 8 months and not really know their options? And yes, I have grappled with the idea that it's not only one side's fault, right? We all have personal responsibility to say, hello, how can I get out of here? Like, ask questions, be persistent. Absolutely. But at the same time, if you run a domestic violence center or you work in one and you're passionate about your job, which if you work in one of those, you should be passionate about your damn job. I don't care how much you're getting paid, it doesn't matter. But I'm not blaming them either, but in a way I am, because I experienced myself. Like, they're not like on the ball with telling women how they can get out. Like, that's the whole purpose. Anyways, my rant is about, I found out about 2 people that had been exited from the shelter with no place to go. So essentially exited into homelessness. And I'm like, there is just no real like reason for that, I don't think. Unless the person really just didn't give a shit. You know what I mean? Fine. Come on, Casey. But yeah. So one person one person had kids, the other person was single, and got exited. And for this person, it was too much. Some people, I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know this person's life. All I know is what they have told me of their life. And yes, we can get stuck in our victim stories. Absolutely, we can get stuck there. And yeah, so this person just, I don't know, now they're in a I think they checked themselves into a psychiatric place, behavioral place, because it's too much. They just can't do it. They were just almost about to, as before they got exited from the shelter. Hold on a second. Before they got exited, they were saving. They had began working. I think what happened too is they were telling me that before I got there, a lot of them, they were up staying at a motel because they were doing renovations at the shelter. So anyways, this person that got exited has no vehicle. So gets exited, and then, you know, was told that they could stay at in someone's backyard in a tent. But then that person, you know, changed their mind also and told her she had to go. Which, you know, I understand. But it's just like sad. And not sad, it's just kind of upsetting. What's upsetting was that, like I said, this person had saved up their money, but you know, and they had housing vouchers, but they didn't have enough for the security deposit saved up yet. And that was a missing piece to the puzzle. Without a security deposit, you ain't going anywhere. So didn't have the security deposit. So even, what are you eating now? Oh, God. So even if she, you know, found a place, if she didn't have a deposit, she wasn't going to get it. But I don't know. You know, she did make excuses, like, you know, she was buying stuff for other people at the shelter because they would make her feel bad. And it's just like, see what I'm saying? It's just a whole mentality, the mind. It's just like, well, people say, well, why would you do that? Well, maybe, you know, this person, maybe they don't know why they're even doing these things. Maybe it's their trauma responses and shit. Like, we just don't know how badly people have been damaged. And it's not the people, not the shelter workers' fault or anything like that, but across the board, they aren't giving people helpful information. and really buckling down on helping people that don't have a vehicle to locate housing, you know, so that they're not exited and then end up back at the shelter. What else do I want to say? I don't know. I guess I feel like I could see multiple sides to this thing, but there's definitely something going on with the shelter, because they're not being, I don't think, in my opinion, that they're being vigilant and helping to make sure that the people who come in there exit safely as well. Like, that's a whole part of the process, you know. Like, if you have a domestic violence shelter, I would think that, yes, one of the main points is to help people to escape and get away from the immediate danger or an abuse. But the next step is, okay, what do we do now? Because this is just transitional housing. This is not permanent. So we need to enforce a very good exiting plan structure to just make our center, to make it complete, you know, because that's what they're there to do, essentially. So anyways, but you know, this person is in like a behavioral hospital or whatever, checked herself in because she couldn't handle it, the pressure. It was too much. She had got placed by, there's a local kind of like Salvation Army-ish type nonprofit church or whatever that placed her in a hotel for like the weekend, but the hotel was like very far from the job she was working, and like she doesn't have a car, blah blah blah, just stuff. I do think that half of her battle and half the battle is overcoming the mind, the trauma, all the shit, all the baggage. Because without a healthy mind and heart, how can you move forward? You know what I mean? So maybe even given the opportunity. I mean, it's possible that the opportunity could have landed in her lap to be moved right into an apartment, but that could have failed too, you know? So I'm not saying that if she was placed somewhere and if she got all the help she could, that it would have worked out for her either, but she could have had a better chance too. But you know, maybe not. So, you know, you just never know the whole complete story, and things can always still work out for her. You know, maybe the hospital is supposed to be a stepping stone from where she goes. Maybe she'll be able to get more support from there. I think that, I don't know if they have it around here, but I think the agency that I used to work at in New Jersey, called Advanced Housing, would be a great type of thing to put everywhere, because it's, what it is supported living. So it's subsidized housing, but you also get help for your mental health. You get support. You get a supportive counselor. Why do I always forget the title I had? It's so weird. Social or support counselor. Supportive living counselor. There we go. I don't know why the hell I always get tripped up on that. SLP. It was called the Supportive Living Program. And I think that's a really good idea, like, for people who are able, like, they can work, like she can work, but there's just some things that people just need extra support sometimes. I worked as a supportive living counselor for a bit, and I liked it, but I got over it pretty fast. But in that program, some people needed more support than others, Some people you only have to see once a month. They're generally okay. You know what I mean? They just need extra support because maybe they have nobody and they're struggling with mental health issues. So anyways, obviously improvements could happen on both ends, but I just think that if you're a domestic violence shelter, I think that you shouldn't be exiting out people into homelessness, but who knows what the whole story is.